I shall reign triumphant.
Buenos dias, children.
So.
Hell, you're all gonna be doing that.
Welcome back to Villain Review episode 97, and today we have a man who has lost more Villain Review polls than almost anybody, so let's show some love to the boy, Rafe Adler, because we know Nadine ain't. Let's break him down, find out how good he is.
Any of you ever cross me
Born into a rich family, Rafe Adler enjoyed being rich, but he wanted to find his own fortune. He didn't want to just ride off the coattails of his dad, he wanted to earn something himself for once. Setting his eyes on the famous treasure of Henry Avery, Rafe would team up with the Drake brothers to try and find it. Unfortunately though, when Sammy Boy would die, in a very Loki-esque fashion I must say, Rafe and Nate would have their trail go dry until a few years later, he'd take up the mission by himself with Nadine and a whole freaking militia. Honestly, I like the origin, and I think we can all agree Rafe feels the most real and personal of all the Uncharted villains. I love the fact that they take time to develop him, and that we actually see some of his past. The motive of wanting to earn something himself is interesting and unique, and it fits really well into the Uncharted series. You can tell he's an opposite of Nate, especially when you take into account the whole, greatness from small beginnings thing, because Rafe, he didn't have very small beginnings, but he still wants greatness. He's got a cool motive, and I like that about him.
Cut the bullshit, old man. I don't know how you scammed your way in here, but if you think about bidding on Avery's cross, I can tell you exactly how you're going to be leaving in a goddamn fight.
Just like a lot of other rich villains we see, you can call Rafe the Chicken Man because he's pretty cocky. It's a little cliche and played out, but it's not really that bad. And at the end of the day, Rafe is just kind of a dick who wants to find the treasure for his own personal reasons, and I can respect that. While he is kind of spoiled and whiny, it's done in a way that feels appropriate for a villain. Rafe is also incredibly ruthless, and we see that in how he treats all the other characters in the game. He threatens Nadine for having common sense, but then he starts crying and whining about it when she turns on him. He's also a character who likes to act like he's all composed and like, oh, hoo, 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 I'm rich and I put my pinky in the air. You can't see me because I'm recording this, it's just my voice, but I do have my pinky in the air. But at the end of the game, we see him really let loose, and I really like that too. Again, it makes him feel real as we see that underneath all the bravado, he's just a snotty little rich kid with delusions of grandeur.
I earned this. All of it.
When I first played the game, I was like, man, the villain's probably gonna suck because, well, you know. But then when he stabs this guy for trying to save up enough money to buy a scalped PS5, I was like, whoa, Toto, we are not with Marlowe anymore. All the scenes Rafe is in do a pretty good job of strengthening his character. They either add more to his motive, personality, or presence, and I really like that the games do that. It's probably what all games should do. Far Cry, take some notes. Obviously, the best scene, though, for Rafe is the end because it's one of my favorite gaming moments I've played in the last, 10 years or so. The music is perfect. Go look up the soundtrack, guys. This whole soundtrack is lit. I have it on vinyl. It's a good listen. The gameplay is simple, but I like that the gameplay is more than a QuickTime event, but it can still keep the story engaging, and it all feels so fluid. The culmination of Uncharted 4 and the series is fantastic here, and a lot of that goes to Rafe. The fact that Rafe feels way more real than a Lazarevich type villain makes this fight all the more personal and intense. It's kind of funny that Uncharted 4 is so grounded, and then in Uncharted 2 we're fighting blue Na'vi looking monsters, and there's this Russian guy who's like, oh, so this little man is Drake, and then now we're fighting on a flaming ship. Actually, that does sound kind of weird. The banter here is great, and I love to see Rafe just go crazy. It's an awesome scene. Go play this game. This game is freaking fantastic.
Samuel, you okay? I guess you knew this moment was coming, huh? Hey! Come on.
So Rafe doesn't do anything super evil like blow up a nun or anything like that, but the game does a pretty good job of setting him up as an opposition to Nate and the boys and Elena. We see from the get-go that Rafe isn't as morally upright standing as Nate, or at least as the game wants us to see Nate. The whole plot twist too isn't even Rafe's fault, but I love seeing him enjoy the lies as it kind of humanizes Nate and Sam, who in Rafe's eyes before that were kind of the ideal perfect explorers. We also see him double-cross left and right as he pursues this goal, and while he has a solid reason for getting the treasure, it's hard to root for him because of the means in which he goes about getting this treasure.
We're done.
Most of my men are dead, Rafe. And those who aren't have already left.
Can you see that? The end is literally in sight.
I'm not going to sit here and say Rafe is one of the best video game villains of all time, because he's not. But what he is a quality villain who manages to stand out in a game which otherwise is a farewell tour for all these other characters who we know and love. He gets the job done with flying colors and adds to the level of content we get in Uncharted 4. I'm going to give Rafe Adler a 7.5.
The auction was the cleanest way to
But
get the
instead of
cross.
going with my gut, I'll listen to you. And now we have competition.
Oh, well, I didn't think he'd show up.
Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, maybe, just maybe, consider hitting subscribe, because I make a new villain review every single Monday. Thanks for watching. Let me know down below what you think of Rafe and who I should review next. You guys are the best. If you watch this video and you're still here, like, man, have a fantastic day. You're my favorite. See you next time.